Hey there, it's Kurt of Trades here, and today I'm going to teach you how to use a detailing brush on the interior and a little bit on the exterior of your car. I'm also going to give you a few quick beginner detailing tips too. So here are the different items I'm going to use for today. First, you're going to need some detailing brushes. There's a ton of choices out there online. Read the reviews, go on some detailing forums, or the Reddit for detailing is awesome too for helping you decide what brush you would like and what your price range is. Just make sure they're boar's hair or a similar soft bristle where they're not going to scratch anything. They make synthetic ones as well. These are just simple boar's hair ones. You're also going to need some car wash soap. Again, there's tons of them out there. Check out the reviews, check out what people recommend too, and again, stay within your budget. And you're also going to need a microfiber towel, at least one. Usually you'll have a bunch when you're detailing. You need a spray bottle with water, and you're also going to need a bucket to fill with water and soap. And you will need a vacuum. Alright, so the first step that I usually do is I usually just take a dry microfiber and I'll wipe down all the surfaces to get dust and other particles off the main areas. These do really well with just getting dust. If you get it a little damp too, it'll pick up the dust better and not just move it around or spray it around. So if it's a little damp, it'll help to, again, stick to the dust and hold the dust on there. That's what I like to do first with all the big areas and screens and things like that. If you have really heavily caked on dirt or grime, you can get it wet, and honestly 95% of the stains and things you're trying to clean up, just water and microfiber towel you can clean them with. The detail brush you're really only going to need in the little nooks and crannies where you can't stuff the microfiber towel into very well and they're hard to reach with your fingers. So I do that first. Then I like to take the brush and I like to do a dry brushing. When you do the brush dry, it's best to use a vacuum. Hold the vacuum near where you're brushing so that all the particles that you help to lift and remove will get sucked into the vacuum and not just land somewhere else in your car. So these work really well on the slats here, in the little nooks and crannies, again around the buttons, everywhere around on here. They go in all the little tiny nooks and crannies and get all the little particles out. And again, you're going to want to use your vacuum. I'm not doing it right now because it's too loud and it's hard to hear when I do that. But that's the best way to do your interior, and especially around your buttons and gauges and center console. It's just with a dry brush to loosen and flick out the little particles and vacuum them up. Now, if you have areas that are really hard to get to, you're going to fill up your bucket with a little water and a little bit of soap from your car wash soap. You don't need very much soap and you don't need very much water, especially on the interior of your car, because you don't want to get you don't really want to saturate like your electronics, your radio, or get it in your carpets too much. So you want it very light on the water. Now, when you get your soapy water in there, you're gonna use your soapy brush. You're gonna clean it with a clean microfiber towel. If you use a lot of soap, then you're gonna want to spray it with your water sprayer. And again, this is usually only used on the exterior or in like the door jambs where there's lots of grime, or places where there's not electronics. Like you're not gonna want to spray water or use soapy water on your brush up here by the radio. If you do have to, because it's a really tough mess to clean up, then you're going to want to use as little as possible to be able to clean up the mess. So you're not going to use a whole lot of water on your brush, like I said before. You're going to try and wipe most of it off back into your bucket. You're just going to do little circles like this, and you should see the suds a little bit. And you're just going to want to get in all the little nooks and crannies, especially the edges around your shifter and in these little cubbies here, especially right around the shift boot. And again, all the spots where there's buttons and things, it's really important to use a detailing brush because it's going to be super hard to use just a microfiber to get in all those spots. Now, don't just let this dry like this. If it's really dirty, you will want to use a spray bottle with clean water to get rid of all the soap and whatnot and all the grime, but you have to dry it with a clean microfiber when you're done, because that will soak up all the dirty water onto the microfiber. If you just let it dry like that, all the dirt is just going to dry right back on the spots where it was, and it won't look very good afterwards. So again, you're going to just use your microfiber to dry up all that soapy water and dirty water in there, and you're going to have to push it all the way down these little cubbies again to try and get as much of the water up as you can. So you're basically going to do it like that for almost every area on your interior. You don't want to use this on cloth seats, obviously, because they soak up tons of water. And they make specific brushes for leather if you have leather in your interior. So make sure you get specific brushes for that and specific cleaners for leather, because you don't want to use car wash soap on leather. Alright, now for the door jambs and the exterior of the car, you can again use these right on the outside of the car if you want to, right on the paint, especially for spots where it's really hard to get in there with a microfiber towel or a cleaning pad, like a mitt, a wash mitt. You're going to want to, again, you have to use soapy water so that you're not just rubbing around the dirt and scratching your paint. But it's the easiest way to clean around these hinges and things and fasteners, and even further into the door jamb in there as well, because these can reach into a lot of spots where your fingers can't, and the microfiber and that sort of thing can reach. So these brushes work really well for this. And again, you're going to want to get in all angles and make it nice and soapy, nice and wet, so you're not scratching your paint again. And you're going to get in all these little spots in here. Now, you can use a lot more water and a lot more soap when you are doing the door jambs, and especially the exterior of the car, because again, it's not going to go into your carpets, it's not going to go onto your interior, it's just all going to go down onto the ground when you're done. So you get nice and soapy, get in there, scrub it really good. And then, important, use your water sprayer. I like using just a handheld bottle. You could use a hose, but I think that's easy to get a lot of water in places that you don't want it to. So I just like using a spray bottle. Again, this washes away all the dirt and soap along with it. And if you just let it dry with the soap, again, the dirt's just going to dry back on where it was. And try your best to use a microfiber after to dry it up, to soak up the water. So you're going to use a microfiber after to soak up most of the water. And again, even if you don't dry up all the water with your microfiber, it's best to try and get as much as you can so you don't get water spots, especially on a dark color car. But if you rinse, especially if you rinse with the water after, just clean water drying on is not as bad as the dirty soapy water drying, because when the dirty soapy water dries, all that stuff that all that dirt and grime that you just washed off and got out of there, well, again, just dry right back on there. So make sure you rinse it with clean water and dry it up as best you can. So now I'm going to do a quick review of what I went over today. So we're going to do first on the interior, you're going to start with a dry or moist microfiber to get the large surfaces cleaned of dust and debris. Then use a dry detailing brush for like the vents and the buttons and switches. Then if you have bigger stains or some grime that really won't come up with just a dry brush, use just a little bit of soapy water, again, so you don't soak the electronics or the seats or carpets. If you need to rinse with water, you can, but it's tricky on the interior, so you're going to dry up any excess water or soapy water with the microfiber. For the exterior, make sure you wash the car first before you do any work on it. Then you're going to use soapy water with the detailing brush to get all the dirt and grime off, and spray down with the spray bottle with just water to clean all the soapy, dirty water away, and then soak up any excess water or soap or dirt with the microfiber towel. And that's it for this tutorial for detailing brushes. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. And yeah, that's all we got for today. We'll see you next time.